Hello everyone, my name is Kat and I want to show you the save file that I have been working on. So for now, this is still the same thing. I just have not had the patience of going in and bulldozing these lots, but basically the save file that I want to do is kind of like historical fantasy kind of Willow Creek save. I do maybe, if this goes okay, want to try and redo some of the other neighborhoods, but for now I'm having a lot of fun redoing Willow Creek, and I want to show you this neighborhood here because unfortunately I was unable to film a few of these lots because The Sims 4 was struggling for me and it was not cooperating. So I want to just kind of use this as an intro to the save file to introduce you to the things that I've already done and don't have footage for. Okay, so this is the first build I started with. I wanted to do a little mage wizard tower. I also am usually the type of person that I want to immerse myself in the Sims, like when I'm actually playing like a specific style. And I tried for a long time like to create a save file that was more historical with a lot of mods and stuff, and it just doesn't work for me because I can't keep updating the mods. I just don't have patience for it. So I am trying to overlook like all of the modern stuff in the background and just pretend it's not there and pretend it doesn't bother me, and this entire save file is going to be CC and mod free because I just do not have the patience for updating mods. So it's just gonna have to be how it is, which I am adjusting to, and it's fine, and I having fun overall, so that's all that matters. So this is where my mage will live eventually. I envision him as a male spellcaster. He is gonna be kind of like this recluse, like lonely type. Lives up alone on his tower, knows a lot. This bathroom's really huge. I kind of like how huge it is, but yeah, he's gonna live alone, very recluse. I want him to have a really, really bad reputation, because not necessarily because he's bad, but people like don't really know him, so they are a little bit afraid of how powerful he is. But he just ultimately like wants to be left alone, and he helps people with the apothecary thing. He also does some jewel stuff. Obviously a wizard, knows a lot of stuff, and yeah, that is basically it. Eventually he is going to have some lore with his neighbors, who are going to be two twin farmers, but I'll get on to that on another one, where I'll go a little bit more in depth. Maybe when I'm actually creating the Sims, I'll talk a little bit more about how all of them are going to interact, because there's going to be a lot of crossover between neighbors and friends, and who is with who and why, and maybe some scandals. It's going to be fun. But for now, I'm just mainly focusing on creating the lots and not so much the Sims, but I already kind of have an idea of who is going to live where. So this is going to be like, this is a park, natural park, I think, national park, yeah. So it's more of like a little corner, because I wanted this to be kind of like, this is the training grounds and this is a monastery, and I kind of wanted like a separation between this being a farmer's residence, and here is more of like a wild forest area, and then we have the wizard tower. So here's like a little corner of a forest where basically like outlaws and like people that don't really have a place to belong sometimes come to hang out. And we have here like a little bit of a fortune teller, like little tent, and she tells your tarot, your future, whatever. I put a little neuropath, apiculture. I don't know what this is actually. Yeah, apothecary stall. And yeah, it's just a little hangout for like kind of outcasts and people that like are more nature driven and like more outsiders. So it's pretty simple. Now we'll see maybe the monastery, because the forest was actually like the fifth one that I actually built, but the monastery was the second one, and I'm really proud of it. Because typically I'm not a builder. I think I'm more of a sim creator. I'm a creative sim girly, but I'm having a lot of fun actually building, because like I don't know, it's a lot of work. It has been a lot of work, but I'm enjoying it. I put a lot of inspirations on Pinterest about what I want to create, and it's been helping me kind of get create the creativity out. So here is the monastery. I'm very, very proud of how it came out. I based it off of a monastery that actually exists in my country. And I think it looks pretty cute. So here's nothing, it's just bell towers. So this is the main church. So you come in and you have the main church. There used to be a mod where there actually like would have a lot type that is a church and actually like have services and stuff, but since it doesn't work, the way I'm going to do it is this is basically a residential rental, and all of the nuns and the priests will like, you know, have their own apartments, but then these places will all be shared, and you can still visit a lot and be here, I guess, and have this as a community space. I actually don't know if Sims that are visiting can just go. I hope they can. I'm banking on that. If not, I can also change this into a small business, I guess, because they also have like, the way I interpret it, I guess, places of prayer would be like meditation. They would also create a bunch of stuff. Historically, monasteries would be crafters and actually have a bunch of crafts that they would then sell to like make a living. Communal baths here, of course, the gardens where they grow their food. Here, showers, more showers. Yeah, of course, apothecary, where a lot of monasteries would serve as like makeshift hospital and asylum sometimes. Also, I want there to be like some cats around, so I put a lot of bowls, and like the way I see it is like strays that come up and stay, and the priests and nuns take care of them. Here is like kind of I'm including a little bit of technology in my world, because I used to have the mod that turns the computers into notebooks, or I forget what they actually, I think they used to be like books, but like, I mean, in a lot of playthroughs, you actually need to have a computer for a lot of careers and stuff like that. So I'm choosing this one that seems to be the one that is the most like the least offensive of the technologies, I guess. And obviously, the Sims carry phones around, which I also had a mod for that, which changed it into notebooks. But I am trying to like overlook that and just trying to have fun without needing to have everything be perfect, which is okay. This is another one of the rooms that I decorated. These small parts here are a little bit bare, but if any of you has gone to a monastery, you kind of know how it is. It's not like luxurious. It's not meant to be. It's a place of worship. So typically these people wouldn't live in luxury. This is the dining hall, of course, the kitchens, which are very, very big with a lot of space, so they all can cook. Yeah, all of these places are like communal, so even if there's several families, or like the priests and the nuns live in separate apartments, they still share everything else. So here is like the upstairs of the church, as it usually is, with like two pipe organs. I put like a little stairway here so that they can come up here and play while the mass is happening. And this is the main priest's bedroom. I was thinking there should be like I don't really know what it would be called. Is it Monsignor? I don't know. The high priest, I guess, someone that like takes care of the parish. He has a private bathroom, and here's just a small other room for 2 other people. Here would be like the recreation room for everyone, for the priests and nuns, where they can play a few games and read and play chess. Bathrooms, of course, up here, and then just corridor with books and chairs. And yeah, that is basically it. I am hoping that it actually works out with, like, if you visit a lot, you can actually be in the shared spaces. But when I go to, because I haven't live tested all of my builds, so I'm still gonna have to do that. And I guess while I do that, I'm going to figure out whether or not this is gonna remain a residential rental, or if I'm going to change it into a small business. Regardless, there's gonna be people living here, and there has to be a way for people to also visit, because that is my intention for the monastery. Now let's move on to the training grounds. The training grounds, I kind of thought of having like a big family that move in and they have a small business running a gym. They are all going to belong to the like military career. There's 2 that are going to be like higher commanding officers than the rest, and the others are going to be like lower end. So here would be like the area where normal Sims could go and, you know, exercise, because it was the only way I could think of creating a historical wait, let me show you the building first. So this is the building, very castle like, but it was the only way that I could think of creating like a gym that would fit within the historical theme. And even though I'm like creating a lot of allowances for like technology and stuff like that, I still want to keep like this fantasy kind of historical vibe to it. So yeah, I thought it would be a good idea to create like a training grounds as like a gym. But the way I wanted it is I still wanted to be kind of barracks, you know, where the military kind of lives. So this will be like open to the public, with like the gym, in quotes, this area here where they can just come here, get a drink, play a little bit, showers, the toilets. I also want there to be some dogs, because I think that makes sense, right? Military canine units and all of that. And then upstairs is going to be like the livable quarters. So they have their little kitchen here, which opens up into the dining hall. Again, very like, not very opulent, just like military, of course. And here they're going to have their rooms, which are all literally exactly the same, as the military loves uniformity. You know how it is. And a little bathroom here at the end. Then here is like a little lounge area for them to just chill, play chess, read a little bit, and they can also play here. The little bed for the dog as well. Here's just a hallway. They have a little training dummy here. I kind of think I want to make like one of these guys or girls is gonna be like kind of the what is it called? The runt of the litter. They're gonna be like a little bit weaker. Maybe they're squeamish, so they're not as good as the rest. And they try to like train at night when no one knows. So they like carried or just somehow got one of the dummies here so that they can train without the others knowing. So I had that idea. That's why I put it there. Here on the top is going to be basically the rooms for the 2 main people, so the chiefs. This is one of them. I had thought that the person that uses this room is going to be really obsessed with fishing, so I was thinking when I actually create the sim and they move in, they were going to have a lot of like trophies from their catches. So I has here the aquarium and the little boat. So this is going to be a person who's really obsessed with fishing. I also took the chance, like, since I have this long hallway, I put some archery range thing here. And here we have the other captain or chief, whatever it's called. And this person is mainly going to be like a very serious commanding officer. They're going to be very like knowledgeable as well. I want them to be very specific type of serious. You know, they take their job seriously, and like, not that this person doesn't, but this person has hobbies and other things going for them. This guy is just very focused on being the best military guy he can be, or she. I still haven't decided on genders. Little doggy bed as well. Here I want it to be like kind of a meeting area, you know, when like the commanding officers have like to make decisions or something, and this would be where they meet up to talk about those decisions or something, like where they would all, I put like a little bit like just chairs all over the room, because I imagine they wouldn't sit still, you know, the type of person that just pushes the chair aside and just, you know, ambles from one side to the other, and maybe come here and look down and see the people training or something. So this is kind of like that area where they would think, they would consider, they would talk. They have like some training equipment here as well in case they want to let off steam or something. But this area, mainly upstairs, would be just for the other two, so the others wouldn't be in these meetings, or if they were, it would be like because of a specific reason that involves them. So yeah, that is basically it when it comes to the training grounds. Just small business that is going to be run by a family, in quotations, that they're not going to be, maybe some could be like brothers or sisters, but not necessarily related to each other. They're just, you know, in the army, basically. And finally, we have the farm, the Daisy farm. I was thinking of creating like two twins, like two girls that are twins, where they inherited this farm from like for generations. It's been on their families, and one of them is really into like just farming and keeping the business alive, and you know, keeping everything going. They have little barn here for the horse. They have cows, one cow or llama, whatever I decide to put here. Chickens, like they have their crops here. But the other sister is looking like to the side to other avenues of knowledge that this other sister doesn't really care too much for. And her and the wizard are going to like be close and possibly fall in love, and maybe the other sister is then going to move in with the wizard, creating friction with the sister that wants to keep the family inheritance, like their farm, alive. So here we have a double bed, which I imagine, like, even though they're okay, they're not very like wealthy, so they still share a bed. I can't imagine, like, I didn't think much beyond the actual two sisters growing up here, but this once was like a family home. But I'm also thinking that given they were kind of poor, they maybe lived here just with one of their parents, maybe dad or mom, and they died pretty young or something. I don't know, like kind of like they're getting by, but not enough to like afford probably medication or like better living conditions. So they're doing their best, basically. So it's pretty small home that they need to contend with. Small home, you know, all things considered. They have a farm, of course, but it's a lot of work to manage as well for two sisters. So yeah, just a small kitchen, the living area that basically is kind of the bedroom, and a bathroom. And then we have a little tower here that I imagine would be kind of like a granary that sometimes exists in farms, where like put the hay out to dry. But instead of just making it like an actual granary, I thought they could have like a bunch of production of grapes, so that they could then turn it into wine. So they have like a little nectar making business, where they just age a bunch of nectar, and that's mainly where all of their profit comes from. Because if you play The Sims, you know that nectar does, like, when it ages, like it is a really, really good way of making money. And upstairs, the other sister, the sister that likes the wizard, is a really creative sim. So I thought I would make her like, instead of just staying focused on these types of crafts, or like the gardening and the nectar making and ranching, she's going to be more creatively driven, and she's looking for other avenues of expression that the other sister is fine with but doesn't really like support all that much. So she just a lot of the times tries to experiment with ceramics and with woodworking, flower arranging, flower pressing, painting. So she's experimenting with a lot of things to kind of like deal with how not claustrophobic, but like stifled she feels in this environment of just waking up, taking care of the animals, farming, bed, waking up, taking care of the animals, farming, and bed. Yeah, and I even put in like a clothesline and a wash basin because I wanted to actually feel like they have so much work to do. Not only do they have to contend with like the normal day-to-day of like taking care of a farm, making money, making ends meet, and also this I think it has off the grid and simple living, the challenges. So they actually have to like do everything, otherwise they are going to be fricked, you know? So yeah, I will see also how this plays out, because I was thinking for now I'm just creating the lots, right? And I want to see when I actually start creating the Sims and start like playing, which I intend on doing, because ultimately I just want to create my dream save file. I want to see how it works out. And the way I was thinking is I'm not going to be focusing on one specific family. I'm going to like disable auto aging for the others, and I'm going to like kind of be hopping around between kind of family to see how it plays out with different families and different play styles. So yeah, so basically that was it. That was my little intro of the houses that I wasn't able to capture on speed build. I hope you liked it. I will maybe do a second video where I go over these, which I managed to record, so I'll also be uploading the speed builds for these, but I can also do like a little tour and talk a little bit more about what I intended and my thought process and all that. And I'm currently working on this one, which I've already done these two, and I still need to do these two, and then all of these. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Stick around if you want to see how this goes, and bye.